17-year-old Kian de los Santos was allegedly shot 3 times by undercover police officers. Credit AP. A horrifying image of a schoolboy being dragged to a violent death in a dirty alleyway has galvanized the Philippines against a brutal startled war on drugs that has killed over 12,500 people in the last year. For a nation now largely immune to the bloodied corpses of alleged small-time drugs users and dealers dumped on the streets, the graphic reports of the final moments of Kian de los Santos, 17, who was allegedly shot 3 times by undercover police officers, have been too much to bear. His killing last week has united the public, senior politicians and the Catholic Church into the most significant sweep of mass protests since President Rodrigo Duterte pushed for a savage crackdown on drugs after his election last June. Most of the 12,500 casualties have been killed by masked assassins. An estimated 3,500 have been killed in police shootouts, which officers often claim were self-defense. Protesters wearing masks depicting victims of extrajudicial killings taking part in a demonstration against the killings of suspected drug users in Manila. Credit AFP. In the case of de los Santos, the police initially claimed he had fired first. But their story was contradicted by witnesses and CCTV footage that showed the teenager being dragged down alleyways into a dead-end corner where he was asked to run with a gun, and shot when he did. He was heard screaming, "Please can I go home? I have school tomorrow." De los Santos is one of 81 people killed last week during mass police raids in what was the bloodiest period of the drugs war so far. His bullet-ridden, semi-naked body was found in a fetal position with a gun in his hand. Speaking to Rappler News, his parents, Saldi and Lorenza, said he was a well-behaved teenager who loved watching YouTube and who helped with the family shop. His only vice was eating cheese-flavored crisps. Protesters display placards and candles outside the wake for slain de los Santos. Credit AP. On the night he died, his father gave him a prescient warning to come home early. "You know how it is on our street, it could be dangerous," Saldi said. Images of his devastated parents comforting each other by his open casket have since dominated the local media. "I need to speak up for my son," Lorenza told reporters. Saldi de los Santos hit out at police attempts to smear his son's name by alleging he was a drugs runner. "We are the victims here. We are the ones you should help," he said. Several children have been caught in the crossfire of the drugs war, but the killing of de los Santos has resonated in a way that none other has done before. Saldi de los Santos comforts his son's girlfriend at his wake. Credit AP. Church leaders have led the outcry, pledging to ring church bells every evening in protest. The Senate has launched an inquiry into the escalation in killings, and people have gathered in candlelit vigils. Vice President Leni Robredo said de los Santos could have been her own child. "How many Kians have we had? How many more Kians will follow?" she asked. 3 police officers, suspected of the murder, are currently in custody while the case is probed. Mr. Duterte's hardline stance wavered on Monday when he said if they were guilty they would rot in jail. Meanwhile, the poignancy of his son's future ambitions are not lost on de los Santos' father. "They killed an innocent child. And to think, he wanted to be a policeman," he said.